they fight everywhere.
The First World War is called a global war because even though the bulk of the action is in the centre of Europe, its fronts are everywhere.
The Italian front.
The Balkan front.
There is
Mesopotamia.
Ottoman Empire.
Salonika.
Southern Mediterranean front.
West Africa. East Africa.
Dardanelles, the Gallipoli front.
Southwest Africa.
Anatolian front.
And then there is the Eastern front.
It was clear from early on that Germany and Austria would have to fight a two-front war, if not a three-front war, against France in the west and Russia in the east, and later on against Italy in the south.
The Western Front was where the war was won and lost. The Eastern Front
is much longer, roughly twice as long. The length of the front means that the force-to-space ratio, the number of troops deployed on this front in relation to terrain, is less intense than it is on the Western Front.
Then you have the Ottoman Empire.
The Ottoman Empire, around the time of 1914, still in control of most of the Arab countries in the Middle East, from Syria to Iraq to Lebanon, Jordan. What was important about the Ottoman Empire is that it controlled what was then called the Turkish Straits, the Dardanelles or Gallipoli, and this would have been a supply line to Russia. And obviously, by this time, oil was starting to become important.
At first, of course, Gallipoli seemed quite feasible. The idea was that the British fleet would sail through the Dardanelles, destroy the Turkish fortifications and steam on to Istanbul or Constantinople, as it was called then. What happens, of course, is that great naval assault fails. So the whole strategy shifts. There'll be an amphibious landing. Men will be landed at the beaches. They'll make their way across the peninsula, neutralise the forts, clear the way, if you like, for the fleet to sail up to Constantinople. All of that, of course, was doomed to failure.
Here is an extraordinary meeting of Ottoman Turks and Australians in a battle neither of them could have possibly imagined.
Many Australians didn't know where Gallipoli was when they found themselves in Egypt, and then when they found themselves ordered on to fight in Gallipoli, they were quite astonished.
The war actually turned into trench warfare, and these trench wars were very bloody. In some places, the trenches were only about 20-25 meters away from each other. And the war was characterized by charges from one side to the other, bayonet charges, and hand-to-hand combat.
When Italy enters war, there is the Alp front.
Italy basically sold its services to the higher bidder, and the higher bidder were the Allies.
The Alp front is a terrible front because it is in the middle of the biggest mountains in Europe.
This is terrible terrain, absolutely terrible mountainous alpine terrain.
You are stuck for months in the snow in these trenches in exceptionally hard physical conditions.
And vertical war is just dreadful.
Military discipline was exceptionally harsh. Measures such as decimation, the random execution of one soldier out of 10, were used as a tool to enforce discipline and punish the army.
This brutal war in the High Alps costs about 1 million soldiers' lives. Incredible. And it is ended by a gas attack of the Austrian side together with the German side, using gas in this valley and thereby defeating the Italian side. So far unheard of until 1917.
There were second-order fronts in Africa, and there were multiple important naval operations all around the world. If you had a map of the U-boat campaigns, you'd see small dots for ships sunk all over the Mediterranean and all over the North Atlantic. But ultimately it didn't work in stopping the transfer of goods and resources across the continent.
And then you have all the other fronts, all the territories in Europe which are occupied. To understand the Great War, you have to understand all the great fronts. What is great is great sufferings.